What is going on, everybody? Today we're looking at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Thor and Destroyer 2-pack for the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest, celebrating the Avengers 60th anniversary. So this is a pretty cool 2-pack where we get Thor, where we have an alternate version of Thor. I'll kind of go into the story to maybe try to explain him and stuff, but just looks a little bit different than just our normal classic Thor. So he's got a beard on this time, and then like the midsections like showing on the sides there. And then we get a Destroyer, which is really cool. So the Destroyers are awesome, and just how big it is and stuff is going to be really cool. If we spin around, we can see a picture of the figures there. We have our two characters on the back showing their alternate accessories, so we get additional head for Thor, and then just some hands for the Destroyer, so that's cool, and then some comic artwork for the two on the side there. So this looks pretty cool, and I'm excited for them, so let me get them out of the pack, and we'll take a look at them together. So let's start off with Thor, whose real name is Thor Odinson, the god of thunder that uses an enchanted Uru hammer Mjolnir to channel his powers. Well, looking at the picture of this and trying to find where it lines up with the comics and everything with the design, especially like the beard and stuff, well, I found there was a time when Thor was merged with Eric Masterson and they would exchange bodies using Mjolnir, so much like he did with Donald Blake. But when Thor finally killed, you could say in quotations, Loki, he was punished and exiled from Earth, so Eric was given the role of Thor until Loki reappeared and Eric rescued Thor from exile. So this is kind of like the Eric Masterson version, which would then go on to become Thunderstrike. But when he was in Thor, this is more what he looked like with this outfit, with the beard, with the like sides exposed, showing his like abs or whatever and stuff there. So that's what I'm going with this as. It's still going to just be a Thor and stuff, but we already have the classic Thor, so I'll show you that comparison. But this could be more of the Eric Masterson version, especially since we already have Thunderstrike and stuff. So I think he looks pretty cool overall. So it's a different design. Body-wise, it's going to be relatively the same to the Thor we've already had. Like, the cape's the same, helmet's pretty close to the same, especially with the alternate head that we get, but it just got the nice like wings coming up off the side, which is pretty cool with the nice domed hat with the spike in it, his long blonde hair there going all the way around, and his thick blonde beard as well. So that looks pretty nice, him having the beard on this time, and like I said, kind of fits in with that other design. And then he's got the black like shirt on with the metal circles on it, so same as before. Like I said, the only difference is that they didn't paint the sides black, and I'll show you that comparison obviously, so you can see his midsection in there, so that's kind of weird. And that goes down to a belt that's all gold that has the T logo for Thor, of course, and some of that black continues down his legs, where he's got some blue pants on. Now his boots are going to be a little bit different, so he's got more of these shiny, I guess there could be like a metal design. They're plastic here obviously, but since they're so shiny and stuff with the gold design, and have these big like wings up on the knees and stuff, so that looks pretty cool. But like I said, that's the only real thing that's different. Then he's just got bare arms with the bracelets there around his wrists and stuff. So overall, like I said, it looks relatively the same. Mostly the only difference is the face with the beard, the midsection showing, and then the boot designs there, but everything else is going to be the same. Obviously they changed some of the colors and stuff, but it's still the exact same figure as before. But we can do the movement, so the head can twist very little, I assume, yeah, because of the hair and stuff, so you're going to have very little movement, especially because of the hair there in the back. So little movement, and then you can look up and down a little bit, just a little there if you get it to rock back and forth, so you can look up that high and down that low. So that's really about it. So not the best movements there. The shoulders can come up to 90 and of course rotate around within there. We get a bicep twist and the double elbow joint that can bend up that far, so almost all the way up on itself, which is pretty decent. We get the wrist that'll twist all the way around and flex. This one's got an up and down flex. Then we go to the ab crunch, so we have the ab crunch in the middle there, so crunch back and forth and twist around just a very little, and then he also can twist all the way around at the waist. We get the hips that can come up to 90 and out to the side, thigh twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, which isn't too bad. We get a shin twist in the middle of the boot, a little bit stiff on this, but can twist around there, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So from just opening this figure and going and put it in the bag for storage and stuff, the legs already kind of got messed up, so it's kind of been up again, weakness at the knees there with the joints. So if they have the pins and stuff in them, the material they've been using like in the joints, and like the piece that goes across there between them is like real flimsy, so it bends real easily there, so that's been up. And then his wings are all bent up from being in as well, so we've got that bit of an issue. So it won't be like that if you get it out of the box. I guess it depends on how they package it, especially with the plastic free packaging, but it shouldn't really look like that. But overall, I think it looks cool just because the bends of the leg and stuff, it's hard to get him to stand. But accessory wise, he comes with an additional hand, so we get a fist hand instead of the grip hand and the open like claw finger hand. And then we also get an additional head, which this looks more like the Eric Masterson version. Like every time I saw him, he had this mask design on, so that's like more signifying of him, which they look almost exactly the same, like the exact same face design, just it has this piece of metal over the top. And there you can see the wings more like match the other ones and are more flared out like it should be and stuff compared to them being bent in like ours are. But that looks pretty cool. So to make it like the Eric Masterson version, we would need to switch this head out. So let's see if I can. So that head was easy to switch out. So there we now have the full Eric Masterson version of Thor there. And then of course he also comes with the Thor's hammer. So same hammer Thor used and everything. So it has the same word and stuff as the other Thor hammers and all that. So that looks pretty cool. So we can put that into his hand. So there's that version of Thor with the hammer. So that looks pretty cool. And as I said, we pretty much had this figure in all design wise with that classic one. I don't remember what it was called or anything, but there we have that version of Thor. So like I said, it looks pretty nice and classic design wise and stuff, and looks relatively same. Like I said, the only real difference is they didn't paint the sides black on this new one like they did with this one. Of course, changed some of the colors you can see with the cape and brightness and stuff. Boots are different there as well, and then of course the faces. But overall, I think this looks pretty cool. Like I said, especially if it's like the Eric Masterson version, you know, gives you that different form and design of Thor. So you can have that classic Thor like I just showed you. Of course, we have that Ragnarok version as well, and now this version. So that is all pretty cool for Thor, and I think he looks awesome. And in this pack, we also got the Destroyer, which looks really cool. So this is a nice, awesome, big figure. We'll see how big he is when we bring Thor back in. But he's probably about 9-10 inches. I didn't really measure him or see how tall he was labeled as. But it is a pretty big figure, but it looks pretty cool. And this all just silver design. So the Destroyer is a mystical set of armor created by Odin of an unknown metal and imbued with the powers of Odin, Zeus, and Vishnu to battle the Celestials upon their return to Earth. But the armor was stored away by Odin until it was found by Loki, who wanted to use it against Thor. And it's only active if the armor is inhibited or piloted by a spirit, and when it is, it's got supreme strength, speed, agility, and reflexes, as well as flight, invulnerability, and a visor blast. So it just looks pretty cool. Of course, we did see this in the first Thor movie. We saw Thor fight out in like the desert town he was in, and it just looks pretty cool. Like I said, pretty basic with just all silver design, but I think it looks cool with the nice, you know, like ribbing design all through it, and then it has the spikes all over, so the spikes and studs running all down the body. We have the Destroyer face that kind of opens up the blades that do the optic blasts and stuff with a nice like flat head pan on there, nice shoulder pads and stuff, and then like I said, spikes running down all through it. So it looks pretty cool, and this is a nice like pinless joint body and stuff, so it should be pretty good quality with that and everything. So I just love the look of this. But we'll do the movement so the head can twist all the way around, can look down that far and up that far. So not a whole lot of range for movement there, but still not too bad. The shoulders can come up. We can get up about that far. I don't think it can get up any farther because of that. So over 45 at least, and of course can rotate around within there. We get a bicep twist and the single elbow joint that bends to about 90 there and has rotation in it as well. And then we get the wrist that'll twist around and rock back and forth. Kind of stiff, but yeah, it can rock back and forth there. Then we get the ab crunch in the middle, so crunch forward, crunch back, so pretty good crunching on this thing, and of course can twist all the way around. Then we go down to the hips that can come up to 90 and out to the side that far, not too bad. We get a thigh twist that'll twist all the way around, the double knee joint that can bend up that far to the back, which is not bad at all, and then the foot can flex back and forth and twist side to side. So pretty decent movements. You know, it's not got the best movements ever with a big figure. You know, like I always say, you're never going to get the best movements, but he has pretty good movements for what he's got. And like I said, with those pinless joints, like I'm not surprised with the single elbows and stuff. Like that's obviously going to have limitations, but all the other joints are pretty good. So no major issues or anything with him. Now, accessory-wise, the only thing comes with his extra hand. So we get an open hand there and then a grip hand as well. But again, he's got nothing to really use with those. It'd be cool if he came with another head with like an optic blast sort of shooting out and stuff. But I think he looks pretty cool there. And of course with this pack he came with Thor, so there we have that Thor against him, so you can see just how tall they are, because especially with these Thor figures, they're already tall compared to most Marvel Legends. So he's tall, and then the Destroyer is taller than him, of course. So there we can have them facing off against each other, the Destroyer versus Thor, which is pretty cool. So awesome to have this 2-pack where we get the Destroyer and Thor, a part of the Avengers 60th anniversary. So let me know what you thought of these 2 figures down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, let me know with a thumbs up. But thank y'all for watching. I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.